My grandfather Munger was more disciplined than my father. My father made a good income as a lawyer, which he carefully spent except for his life insurance and his houses and so on. My grandfather always saved his money. And when the Great Depression came, he could save the whole rest of the family. And so that's what I remember him more when I talk about the investors.
And the Alfred Munger Foundation? Yeah.
I was named that after my father.
And what does
That's
that
not
do?
my grandfather.
Right, and what does that do? That foundation?
Well, I'm going to give away all that money before I'm dead if I last a little longer. It's not that much money.
What do you want to give it to?
Whatever appeals to me at the time. I don't ask anybody.
How do you think about creating impact through philanthropy?
What?
How do you think about creating impact through your philanthropy?
Doing what?
Through giving away money. How do you
I do
think
it
about creating
myself. I
impact?
give anything out if you can, please. I regard it as a tax-exempt bunch of Munger money. I've got no staff. I just do it.
Do you have any criteria that you follow, or what kind of change are you trying to
I
create?
do it when I want to do it, and I give where I want to give it.
What are your hopes for your grandchildren?
Well, naturally, we hope the grandchildren do well. And any grandchild, I've got one who's running a little tiny partnership. But my grandchildren are all doing different things, and I got one at Google. He's a computer software engineer.
Are there any other periodicals besides Barron's that you've read for 50 years? And do you have any more inspiring anecdotes from the either Forbes, Fortune, Wall Street Journal?
Bloomberg Business Week.
I've read Fortune for 60 years.
Fortune for 60.
I've never bought a stock. And I was not kidding about that deferred gratification.
Isn't it true that you got a new car when you were like in your 50s or 60s? That was the first new car?
I bought them for my wives, but I always bought a Cadillac that was about 3,000 miles on it, way cheaper. I fool around in coach airplanes. I used to go to the Berkshire Hathaway meetings and coach, and Berkshire Shore would stand up. They were all in coach too. And they'd stand up and clap.
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
I wanted to read you a quote and get your opinion on it. My religion consists of a humble admiration of the illimitable superior spirit who reveals himself in the slight details we're able to perceive with our frail and feeble mind.
Sounds like that's not some scientist.
It's Einstein.
Yeah, well, that's the way he felt.
What's your opinion on that?
Well, I don't have his idea. He was good at puzzles. Physics was a big puzzle to him. And so he naturally loved that great puzzle and this puzzle maker in the sky. It made it difficult, but you could figure it out. I'm different from Einstein. Of course, I couldn't figure out the puzzles the way he did.
Can you rephrase? Can you rephrase that? I didn't understand the answer.
Well, Einstein has his own slant on religion. There's certainly no conventional theology in Einstein. He's not talking about being nice to other people or anything like that. He just thought there must be some God out there that created these wonderful puzzles for me to solve. That's a peculiar kind of a religion. But that was Einstein.
Charlie, you mentioned that one of your greatest achievements was family, having a family. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you would do differently with the family, or things that you did really well with the family in terms of investing into the family?
Well, I had a lot of children, educated them all. And I take the results as they fall. What else can you do with a family? And I have a lot of very admirable children, some of whom are out there today. And that's a huge blessing. one of the things I like about them is that they're decent, generous people. One of my daughters who was there, she had a friend who was married to a total jerk, straitened circumstances, bitter divorce. My daughter just bought her a house. I think she owns the house, but this other family lives in it.
What's your opinion?
That's a nice, generous thing to do if you're rich.
Wow.
I'm glad I have children like that, not like some of the rest of them.
What's your opinion of the giving pledge?
Well, I told Gates that I wouldn't do it. Because I've already flouted it. When Nancy died, community property stayed. She left it up to me to decide where it went. But I knew she would want it to go to the children. Every wife, always afraid the old man will have his money taken away by some nurse or something, his dotage. I knew Nancy would want it to go right to the children. So I shunted more than half the Munger fortune, quite a bit more than half to the children. So I've already totally violated the spirit of the Gates pledge. I said, Bill, I'm not going to publicly be a spokesman for something I've already totally flouted. And I flouted it because I knew my wife, who had helped me all these years, would have wanted it that way. I'm not a good example for his pledge. So I won't do it. I won't pretend to be doing something I really didn't do.
Charlie, it may be a little too personal, but
What?
it may be a little too personal, but is there anything that you'd like to share about your wife, Mrs. Munger?
Yeah, we'd like that.
I'm going to say is, a long life has many disappointments and agonies in it. I watched a sister die a horrible death of Parkinson's disease, dying young, 64. I lost my first son to leukemia, miserable, slow death. And at the end, he kind of knew it was coming. And I'd been lying to him all along. It was just so awkward. And it was just pure agony. And you just have some of those agonies that are going to happen. There's not so much agony when somebody's really old dies. You know, they deteriorate so much you almost don't miss them, which I'm doing a good job of. But no, I think you just take the hardships as they come. You take the blessings as they come. And you have fun out of figuring out the puzzles as best you can. It's really, we're very blessed to have that. And we're in the United States. We're not in India. We're not under some crazy dictator like Russia. We live where everybody, they got to bribe India. We got a lot to be thankful for here. And we have a lot of options. We can change jobs, we can move around, we can do this or that. We get a huge admixture here with all the cultures of the world without having to travel. So we're not restricted to one narrow little group of Bulgarian farmers making olive oil or something. We got this great mixture of people who are quite interesting and quite different, and they're all cross-marrying, which makes it even more interesting. Yeah. It's amazing to me there was a lot of anti-Jewish prejudice when I was young. And now every family I know, you know, they're all cross-married. I don't have a friend hardly with a big family who doesn't have a Jewish in-law. It's all, and the old ideas have sort of died.
How'd you meet your wife, and how did she accept you?